What's up, CSEP? It's your girl Crimson here, and I have got a special treat, not just for you guys, but for me as well, because joining me for the first time for one of these videos is the best teammate ever, Mr. Rastafari. Hello, Ross.
Hello.
We are going to do something a little different. Usually I do a brief commentary before my race and then post the race, but today, extra special treat is Ross and I are going to react to our semi-pro promotion race. We finished second in the amateur division, and Toby and Silverboy finished second to last in their division. So that meant a 2v2 for a spot in the semi-pro division for season 6 of ICSTC. So Ross and I didn't know really what to expect, did we?
No, we did not.
Because I don't know about you, but I hadn't I think I only raced Toby in the, I want to say it was the Ghost League, just on the off chance or something. It was some sort of event recently. Maybe it was the World Cup. Might have been the World Cup. And it seems like our pace was pretty even. So but I'd never raced Silverboy to my knowledge. So yeah, I don't know what your experience was prior to this with them, but mine was very minimal.
I had plenty of experience with both of them, either in online lobbies or the league events that we schedule and everything. Toby's definitely been more of a challenge every time. Silverboy definitely has his moments. He's not slow by any means. Maybe he didn't practice as much for this race as he did for other races, but he's always been a good competitor. They've always given me a good challenge. And Toby really showed up and really pushed me to my limits.
Well, I will say one thing about those two is they were fantastic competitors. Just their whole attitude, and I won't spoil the result, even though pretty much everybody knows. But afterwards, they were so positive, and it was such a fun race. It was very jovial between the two teams, and it was just what I would call the epitome of the spirit that we strive to have in ICSTC, and I think that's what we were lucky enough to experience with this race. That was
absolutely. I couldn't agree anymore.
And speaking of the season, because I mean, you and I talked obviously after every race, but we haven't really talked about our season as a whole. So, how was your season?
My season was a roller coaster, probably just like anybody else's. It started off strong. I wouldn't say a weak midpoint, but
You
it felt a
started
little
off with
bit.
a double win, didn't you?
Yes, I started off with a double win, scored maximum points as much as I could. I think the second race I didn't get fastest lap, but first race of the season I pretty much dominated. Felt pretty good. And then I finished pretty strong. I picked it back up mid to late season.
Right. And you had some major technological issues as well with the
Yeah,
game.
there was a couple races where there's some screen, how would I say it?
Was it stuttering, or you said it was glitching, so I wasn't sure what that meant.
Yeah, glitching might be an overwhelming term to say it best. The stuttering probably would be a better suited option.
Well, I'm glad you got it fixed, especially in time for this race. My season was kind of the opposite. I started off horribly because we had the Thunder Point race where I basically got taken out and run over, which ended my race. So very, very few points in the feature race at Thunder Point. And then I came back with a vengeance for Los Lagoons.
You came back so strong for Lost Lagoons. I couldn't have been more proud of you. I think you probably got taken out, not taken out, but I think you went down a couple places early on, and then I think your head just got right into the zone, into the ball game, just lap after lap, and you came back with one of the strongest victories I've ever seen.
And a little bit of luck, I think, also played a
Yes,
part.
yes.
And I was worried going into Los Lagoons because I knew I was going for the extra stop compared to what maybe others would be doing. And you generally that tends to work for me more often than not. But it's always a concern, because you enter traffic and you don't know what the others are doing. So, but I think if I had not done the extra stop, I wouldn't have had the tires to come back
Correct.
if the same things had happened. So it
I
ended up being a wise choice. But yeah, I I do have to thank Minority, because I was really nervous headed in. I had an awful Thunder Point. Obviously, I was pretty distraught over what all transpired there, and he kind of calmed me down, gave me like he's such a busy guy. So for him to take the time to give me a little mini session where he kind of follows me on the track and sees what to do, and he gave me like just a few little pointers that were just game changers for me when it came to my lap times. And then I said, thanks very much. That was very helpful. And then I grinded it in practice, just getting those two little changes down pat and getting it consistent. And so I felt confident in the car, confident in my racing line, and confident in my abilities, which was drastically different than all the other races, like throughout DID and Thunder Point, where I was just nerves. It was like I was so nervous. But this one I was a lot more confident. And yeah, I had a couple. One was like my major mistake where I ended up riding the fence, ass up to the sky. I kind of wrecked myself right after coming out of the pits, so I already incurred damage. And then at the end of that lap is when I think it was Steamroll had a lag incident or whatever, and he was like blocking the path, and I think I was third driver to come along and hit him. So yeah, so I had like another 5 laps to do with significant damage, where you lose so much time because it's such a long track. But after that pit stop, I just I don't know, something came over me. I just put my head down. I was like, I think because you're in that situation that your expectations are now void, right? Like you just try to make the best of it, so you're not like, you're pushing but you're not desperate because you're not sure what's possible.
Absolutely.
And then towards the end, the Fallen had that lag spike or whatever it is that sent him into the fence.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. That's a terrible thing to happen for somebody.
Yeah.
Because he was running really good. I do believe he would have got second place in that if that wouldn't have happened, or he probably maybe would have won it. But yeah, I remember the lag spike. It is terrible that did happen to somebody, anybody.
And earlier in the race, I'd let you by because you had the fresh tires, and then at the end, toward the end of the race, you returned the favor. I think you recognized that I had really fresh tires, and just gave me the inside to go around, which was awesome, because then it was. I remember, and I recorded when I recorded the race too. I revisited that feeling, but I remember thinking like, "Yes, Ross, 1-2, let's go!" When you were ahead, and then when I was ahead, I was like, "Yes, Ross, 1-2, let's go!" So as much as we didn't plan that, we hadn't even talked about doing that beforehand. Just kind of, and we weren't in a voice chat. There was no like verbal communication in race.
Nope.
So
Nope.
it was just sort of like, if each time one of us went extra wide, I think, to signal to the driver, like, just go, you got fresh tires, just go, and not cause trouble for your
Absolutely.
teammates.
That's what makes great teammates. It doesn't matter individual. It's the ICSTC. It's the team championship. So if you can help your teammate out to get in front of you to get a better position, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a selfless act for sure, because we're all competitors at the end of the day. There is a driver's title that we were both kind of in the hunt for. So to have that give and take really speaks to our team and the way that we work.
Absolutely.
And then we had Sugar Hill, and I think I recall. Did you struggle at Sugar Hill?
So I believe these next 2 races were the races that I had real big problems with on the stuttering.
Right.
And I did not finish either one of them.
Right. And unfortunately that cost us a lot of points right there, because I think 60s on Sugar Hill, you would otherwise have no problem
No,
doing.
nope. I was in the lead before those two races, and that basically cost me the championship.
Yeah. And I had a Ferrari strategy. I went with the extra stops. And then towards the end of the race, I think I was chasing down, I probably could have made podium. And then Phil, poor Daily Phil, hit the S's. And,
Yeah,
and I got collected in that. So I barely held off Mir Topin. I think I finished fourth or something, but yeah,
you
it
still had a
was
strong finish in that race, regardless of what happened.
yeah. And then Tilksport.
Took
I'm trying to
sport.
remember, like, back to Tilksport. I
So
think I was winning, if I recall correctly, in the sprint race. I was winning and then hit a CCD on the last lap. And so the Fallen passed me, which was like, it's just one of those things where, you feel so good for so long throughout the race. And then that happens. But there was nobody to blame but myself, you know?
true.
Um, I think I was just pushing too hard. As soon as I got the lead, I maybe should have been a little bit more conservative, but I was pushing because if you don't, the Fallen has such speed, and he's putting in those lap times that he's going to catch you and pass you. So
He's very
I
quick. He's very, very fast. He knows how to close the gap in very quickly. He knows he can see you on the screen, and he can see every single mistake that you make just draws him in even closer. So I understand the push, and it's just like in real life. You want to get done as soon as you can to get that win.
Yeah. And then the feature race, I think I got caught up in traffic. I didn't qualify well, which sucks. And then I got held up in the first, I think, 3 or 4 laps. And so there was this huge gap right between the pack and the leaders, and I just never caught up after that. So, how did your Tilksport race go?
I believe that was the second race that I didn't make.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't really remember the Telksport one.
It was a great combination though. 50s on Tilksport.
Oh, it was
I really
fantastic
enjoyed the
combination.
combination. Yeah. Same with
Yeah.
60s on Sugar Hill. Some people complain about Sugar Hill, especially about the S's. I know Paladins talked about it on Mantra Minute, and I always disagree because I think that if you took out the S's, it would be the most boring track.
I mean,
The
it's already
S's, it's
good.
what makes it hard, and the hard is what makes it great. To quote Tom Hanks.
It would be too simple of a track if you didn't have the S's.
Yeah.
It would just be. I'm not going to use the term boring, but it would just be too simple even for C-Sub.
Right.
Even
Right.
even even Sunnyside offers a little bit of chicane in the middle of the oval, whatever. So it would just be too boring with just three sides and then 3 U-turns. Gotta add something.
And as much as we had very similar feelings going into the first 4 car track combos, we had opposite feelings headed into Sienna, because I love it and you hate it.
I'm just I try as much as I can to try to get into the track. I'm learning to like it more now. But I've just never been a big fan of Sienna. A lot of people, it's their favorite track. Maybe I'm more of the open, long tracks. But Sienna is just not one of my cup of teas.
I think it's probably mine, for 2 reasons. One is one of the first racecraft skills I learned was defense, right? So I can defend quite well by positioning my car accordingly, owning that inside line, the inside apexes. And if you can do that, you can be quite successful at Sienna because that's all it is like hairpins and turns. And so if you own the inside, then you make it real hard to get by. So I was confident in that way. And then a while back, I had a coaching session with Pierre, who's one of the fastest players in the game. And it was a different car. It was with the Voss, the rally car. But I'd always struggled with Sienna, and he took the time to give me a coaching session and just kind of, I think there was maybe two or three areas that I really had to focus on improving. And once I got the hang of that, I started being really competitive in the public lobbies on that track with just about every car. So headed into this one, I was fairly comfortable with prototype, especially on Sienna. So yeah, I was looking forward to it. And ICSAS, which was the race before that, before our race, I did really, really well. um, I held off Boxer Evo for half the race. Like Liker can thank me for getting an easy win because I made Boxer Evo. So headed into our race then, you had a horrible quali. You qualified ninth. So basically, you qualified last, and I was a little worried about what your mindset would be. I was hoping you wouldn't panic, but you gained 2 positions. You finished seventh, so you definitely made up some time for sure. I qualified fifth, and I finished fourth, so I finished just off the podium. But I was half a tenth off the Fallen. Like it was close, very, very, very close. Actually, Phil, the Fallen, and I were all very, very close. We were all within a tenth of each other. So it was like a dogfight right to the end, that way. But and Sir MPH was just far out ahead. So that's kind of how that race went. But again, I think I went for the 2-stop. I don't even remember. I feel like it wasn't that long ago and I can't remember, but I remember the Thunder Point race like it was yesterday. I remember the Lost Lagoons race like it was yesterday. And then Sugar Hill and Tilksport and Sienna just get a little blurry after that. But we finished the season in second. And I think, if we had to redo the season again, I think we would do a couple things differently. One, I wouldn't have just abandoned my race at Thunder Point. I don't know if I would have gotten another position, possibly, but I just pulled over. I was done. I had to physically walk away from the computer. I was so mad. And I might have done the fuel saving strategy at Sugar Hill. I would have probably done that one differently. Tilksport and Sienna, I think I would just have the same approach to both. I think I maybe would have hot lapped practice a little bit more just to ensure better quality. But otherwise, and then for you, I think the only thing I would have changed for you is be like, I don't care if your screen is stuttering. I don't care if you just start the race and pull over. It's still points.
Right. So that's the one thing that I would say about the season that I would either take back or not even a regret. It's a learning lesson. I would definitely just try. That's the mindset I went in. Even when I qualified ninth at Sienna, I finished seventh. I was like, you know what? Just give it a good shot. You might actually pass a few people, and I passed a couple. Finished okay. Finished better than what I qualified. I'm fine with that. But I would say, don't just quit. Don't just exit. Race the race and see what comes out of it. You never know.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you do quit out, you do know the result. You're in complete control of that result.
Correct.
But if you stay in, then you never know. You could maximize the potential of whatever happens. So yeah, it's a good lesson for both of us heading into season 6. But then we had to compete for a spot in semi-pro. First, congratulations to the Fallen and Crossplay Racing for their titles. We were annoyingly surprised by you people because I know when I talked to you at the beginning of the season, we thought it's going to be Phil and Stoney or Steamroll or whoever, right? Like we just did not see Crossplay Racing coming at us at all. At least I didn't. For sure.
Totally blindsided. Even not blindsided. I had somewhat of an expectation of them, but they really showed up when it was clutch time. Fallen's getting faster every day. He's a very fast learner, and most props to them. They worked very efficiently. They worked very well as a team. They're very good drivers, and it was an absolute pleasure trying to compete against them.
Sure. And do we wish them well in semi-pro? Because
No,
we're
because
now we
we
have
are.
to race against them again.
No, we do
No.
not wish that. No, just joking.
We wish them well, but we also wish them less speed.
Correct. Correct.
So good luck, have fun, slow down. Our VSR Blue message to crossplay: good luck, have fun, slow down. Okay, so headed into the promotion race.
Yes.
We weren't, as we talked about earlier, we really weren't sure what to expect from Zed Racing. You had more experience, obviously, racing than I have. I really didn't know what to expect, not just as like driver skill level, but I have no idea like how much do they practice, how seriously do they take, the preparation stages or what have you, and so I just went. I think I just developed the mindset of what their maximum would be, and we have to beat that, right? Like, okay, we're gonna practice more than we think that they will, and so you and I put in the laps for sure. I can't tell you how many practice laps I put in for this because, as we talked about, I remember asking you, "How are you with GT on Fenza?" And you're like, "I'm great," and I was like, "I'm not." For some reason, I love the track. I love the car. But that car on that track, I never feel in control. There's zero confidence in that combination for me. But you have confidence in that combination. So so I had to to grind out that lack of confidence. And I was feeling pretty good about myself during our initial practices. But then you went and had a session with Daone, and suddenly you're kicking my butt in the next practices, and I was like, what the hell? Where did
Yes.
this come from?
Yep.
So how good did that feel? Like that was a difference maker for you.
So the difference between me practicing with a coach and me not practicing with a coach was literally you're shaving point 0.3, point 0.4 off of your total lap time. And it's a pretty good feeling, knowing that you have a better chance to qualify higher than lower. And with Dewan teaching, he's great. He has great patience. He can go corner to corner and talk about where your car should be, what kind of speed, where the back tires are going to break out at. So it's good to have a coach to point out little detailed things in each corner to help you maximize efficiency in the cornering, because in this course there's two things: there's a lot of speed and there's a lot of carry-on speed out of the corner. And if you can maximize the carry-on speed out of the corner, you have a better chance of being faster than other people.
For me, it's all about, the two sections really, where you're using the dirt right before the turn. It's all about how much dirt you use and the timing of when you turn. And getting those two things down pat is hard. It's very hard because so much can happen before that turn that changes your line leading up to it. But yeah, for me, especially that second last turn, you're headed down towards the last turn before the start finish straight. That one is like the crucial one. I know based on that if I had a great lap time or not, and it didn't matter what happened the rest of the lap. If you don't get that turn right, you go wide, you just lose so many tenths off your time. Like it's just those two turns in particular are kind of game changers, and then sort of the hairpin in the middle of the track as well. Making sure that you're not taking that too far from the inside and losing all your exit speed. But at the same time, you don't want to get too far over and hit the dirt right before it either, because that's bad. You'll be doing pirouettes instead of a turn. So yeah, it's a deceptively technical track, I think. And
There's if you think about it and compare it to a normal F1 track that you watch or any other racetrack, this track has 4 DRS sections. It has the home stretch, the top section, the section that comes down before the hairpin, and then the section right before the home stretch.
Yeah.
So you really can't make too many mistakes or people will catch you or leave you in the dust.
For sure. Absolutely. All right. So one thing is, you had a little coaching session, like we said earlier, with Daone, and
Yes.
that person just happened to pop in the studio. So welcome, Daone.
Hi, Dawn.
Hello.
So, Daone, you had a session with Ross that I didn't even know about, and I didn't find out until the boy starts like slaughtering my race times in a practice, and then he tells me afterwards that it was you. So, go through like what did you teach him? What was your approach to that?
Um, Sometimes it's like you just get into this mode of where you figure out your race style, and sometimes you just need to go back to the basics. So I literally ran him through the initial, like, here's the ideal line, how you should take the corners and stuff, and that alone kind of like sparked his brain to think a little bit more instead of just going with the flow like maybe he used to do. And when you're just in a brain lock, you're gonna be very inconsistent as well. So not only are you hopefully gonna improve your time, but you're gonna improve your racecraft essentially and be able to stay in front of what you're supposed to be doing instead of just staying where you're at.
So he had reached like the dreaded plateau that we all talk about. The dreaded
Yeah.
plateau, yeah.
Yep. He was on that plateau, and like I said, sometimes you just gotta sit back and double double think about yourself. Like, he was quick before, but if you go and rethink every track now, Ross, all your tracks will improve, or all your times will, I should say.
I was just sitting here thinking about that, and you're absolutely correct.
Yeah,
Did
you
you
just
have
gotta.
a Ross? Did you have like a light bulb moment during the
So
session?
the light bulb moments were the important moments coming out of the corner, the getting your car just right before the corner, and letting the dirt break your back wheels out so you can slide the back end around to get that exit corner. Those were the little light bulbs that he showed me. He showed me the positions on the track in the little dirt, regardless if it was whole car off of the track or just two wheels into the dirt to help the cornering and the breakaway speed coming out of the corner. Those are the little light bulbs.
Now, prior to the session, going around the hairpin in the middle of the track, were you a lifter or a brake tapper prior to the
So
session?
prior to the session, a little bit of a brake tapper, but it all comes with how you take the corner in that situation anyhow.
Right.
But most of the time after the coaching, there's not much brake to it. You just got to let your car slide around a corner, and just find those perfect cornering moments to where you actually don't have to use the brake to slow your car down even more.
Now, obviously, the coaching session gave you a huge boost of confidence, right?
Huge boost.
Especially after the immediate practice following the coaching session, because
I
I hadn't
remember
changed a damn thing, and you went from way back to way ahead in
I
one
remember
practice.
I remember our first practice session on the combo, and I do believe you guys finished a half a lap in front of me. That was the first practice, and we kept doing them practice after practice, and you just stayed right there, fast, 0.3, 0.4 quality time, and I just couldn't keep up with you. It was very discouraging. Um, but I guarantee you, once I had the coaching session, I kept right up with you.
Which was blessing and a curse. I was so happy for you because I think, after our first practice and you were so far behind, I could tell you were deflated about that. Because
Absolutely.
we're a very even pace, really, on a
Yep.
normal basis. And between the two of us, you were way more comfortable with this combo than I felt I was. So I think it was like, I just got that you were feeling a little deflated after that, like, oh my gosh, and then so after the coaching session, and then you proceeded to absolutely freaking murder me with your times.
Well, I
Um,
remember I
I
remember
was just happy
doing
for you.
I remember doing the combo back in, I believe it was season 3, the season opener. That was like the first season I paid attention in Circuit Superstars. Um, and I just remember watching Star Rec doing lap after lap, trying to get the best times. I think it was like a 26.5 or somewhere around there, 6 or 7, something like that. Everybody's gotten faster over time. Like the quality times now are absolute ridiculous speeds. Um, I forget what I was going to mine. Fuck.
Well, suddenly you're cranking like extremely fast times. And I was like equal parts super happy for you because I knew it was like the confidence booster that you really needed. Because this is your car track combo.
Yeah,
You love it and you're
I
good at
felt
it.
I
But at
felt
the
very
same time, I was like, I had the opposite. I was like, what the hell?
right.
My
No, I
coach has
felt
betrayed me again, first of all,
yep.
by teaching someone else how to beat me. But I can't be mad because it's my teammate, so I have to be happy for you. And because
So
it's
yeah,
Ross, I have to be
so
even
yeah,
happier.
after doing it in seasons, watching it seasons before, I knew I was comfortable with the combo, but I wasn't at the quality time that I needed to. So the coaching session got me to the quality time that I needed. But yeah, I've always been confident with the combo.
Well, DeWan also coached us even when he didn't realize that he coached us
True.
because um, I had I had hosted the sprint race because they were the higher division, so they got to host the feature race. But before I transferred the host, I thought it was only polite to do all the settings, right?
Right.
But like an idiot, I forgot to change the ghost setting. So
Yes,
here
you
we go.
did.
I laid down a great quali, got pole, right? At a 0.451, I think
I
it was.
believe it was the fastest quali out of all 3 qualies.
Yeah, it was the fastest quali that I had done in our practices too.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
thought, woohoo, and then we didn't even get half a lap in when we realized that we were ghosted and had to restart. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, I had a great quali. And Toby he's such a great sense of humor. He posted in the Discord, because I had said, oh damn it, I had such a great quality. He's like, yeah, please don't repeat that. Which I
Yep.
laughed at that. It was great. It was a great
Yep.
way to break the ice because when someone makes a mistake like that, you can get real angry about it. Or but Toby and Silverboy were so they're such great guys, that they just took it all in stride and they were like, yeah, just don't repeat that again. And
Yep.
so suddenly I just kept thinking about the grid talk that DeWan had with Minardi, and talking about patience and just relaxing and getting in a good mindset. So because they were both talking, that was a lot of the theme of that grid talk. So I really took away that, and I thought, okay, I just have to do this again, just do the same thing again, and had to calm myself down and be like, it's okay. And so the formation lap, and then the first lap is always a safe lap. And then once you have that safe lap recorded, then go to town and push. And I remember DeWan's voice in my head because it was the second or third lap of quali. I hit a CCD and I was like, it's a bad word. It starts with the letter F. Might have said it more than once. I might have called the CCD names. But and it was like, no, you know what, just try again, and just kind of resetting the mind, calming down, be patient, and now, did I hit every CCD after that on that lap? Yes, I made a point. If I'm gonna hit the one, I'm gonna hit every single one of them so that they know what it's actually like to feel like they got hit. So if I just tap them the next time, they'll be like, nah, that wasn't a hit, teach them a lesson.
You were the one who always got me in the habit of just driving any way you want in the formation lap and then giving all you got the quality. Like
Yes.
you taught me that a long time ago. Just run them over, go hit a CCD, go flip your car, go do whatever you got to do, and then focus.
Yes. Did it work?
Oh, it absolutely works. It absolutely works.
Awesome. Well, sometimes, I know, when you get that countdown, to the start of quali, or like, you hear the engines right before it's like go. The nerves are so bad in me. Like I'm shaking. I can, when you can like feel your pulse in your ears. Like that's how bad it
Yes.
is. I
Yes.
feel that, and I feel like the formation lap is such an opportunity to just reset your brain a little bit. Go find something else to focus on, whether it's hitting every CCD, doing a barrel roll at Lost Lagoons, whatever it is you got to do. Mess with the other ghosts, whatever. Do a butt wiggle. But it just kind of like, I don't know, reduces the nerves, I think, if you do that. Now, timed quality is a little different because you just want to do that as quickly as possible so that you don't lose more lap opportunities. But I remember the last lap going, this is a good lap, and trying to convince my brain to not say, don't screw up, don't screw up, don't screw up, don't screw up. Like, no, just one corner at a time, one corner at a time. Daone always says, one corner at a time, just look at the front of your car, one corner at a time. And so imagine my surprise when I got the 0.3. So yeah, it was only a few hundredths off of Minardi's world record time for ICSTC with that combination. So I was pretty proud
Can we
of
just
that.
get it on a true recording so I can clip it and you say that I was right and you listen to me?
No, I'll edit that out. Note to the editor. So the one you were watching through Ross's
Yes.
stream, all this happening.
Yeah.
So as our coach, what was going through your brain?
So, like when you guys realized it was ghosted.
Yeah, we had to do
Yeah.
again.
I instantly knew what was going through your mind, at least, Crimson, but probably Ross's too, and oh great, and then all the expletives. And I almost knew you were gonna be overthinking if you did not listen to what we had mentioned, me and Minardi. So I was sitting there just hoping that you were not freaking out and letting your heart beat too fast. And then I see your safe time, and it seems worthy of pull a little bit, but it wasn't fast. So I was sitting there and just come on. And Ross, I think, got pull on the second lap. So I was like, okay, that's good. He had like a 0.4, I think. So I was like, okay, one of the teammates has got got pull. And
Well,
then
we
you
went
said,
back and forth because I
yeah,
was watching. I don't usually watch until the very end, right? But I was watching this time, and first I said it, then Ross got quicker, then I went quicker, then Ross went quicker, then I went quicker.
yeah.
So it was like a back and forth battle for pull.
Yeah, I was when I started seeing that, I was like, oh, these guys got it. And then you set the 0.3, and then I was just ultimately so proud. I was like, oh wow, like she knew to calm down, put it in, and I mean that was about as good as you can get. So yeah, I was really proud of you guys. And then when I was watching the race, I could see that you guys had adrenaline going the first few laps. You guys are kind of squirming around the track, and then you settled in and started soaring away from them guys, and that was awesome to see.
So Ross, what was going through your brain when we had to restart the quali?
Not to put my hands through my screen and choke your neck.
Okay,
No,
maybe we should
jokes
rethink the
aside.
whole team voice chat thing during races.
So jokes aside, I knew exactly what happened before we even got to turn one, and I was like, how long are they gonna go before they let off the gas and quit this game? So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop, quit the game, because I knew exactly what happened. Shut my mouth, regroup, close my eyes, take a deep breath, join the lobby, and went for it again.
Yeah, we didn't even get to turn 2. And then everyone just stopped.
No. I was
I felt
wondering
so
how
bad.
long we were gonna go. but it's okay.
So
We
Yeah,
all
when
make
you
mistakes.
guys did get around turn one, and I was sitting there like, wait, are they actually gonna do this? And then they all stopped. I was like, oh, okay.
well, because the first stretch, everybody's always ghosted, right? Like that's just how the game's set
Right,
up now.
right.
So you're like, it kind of fools your brain into thinking like, oh, are we still? Is it still
Are
that in
we
that
that close?
stage? You
Right.
know, whatever. But then turn one happens, and you're like, oh no, we're still ghosting.
Oh, no
uh,
contact happened.
yeah, exactly. So Ross, like your personality type, how do you usually react to a situation like that? And did you react any differently for this race because it was a promotion race
I
and you
acted
had a
more
great quali?
I acted more calmly, if I'm being completely honest here,
Oh,
because
more calmly.
I knew it was a very, very important race to you and to me and to VSR as a team. Um, so I knew I had to act, I guess, more professional in the team sense, knowing that I knew exactly what happened. Mistakes happen. We're all human, and we all need forgiveness, and we just try it again. That's
Right.
exactly what went through my head.
Well, I figured, because we were 1-2 in the original quali, we were the only ones that had anything to lose by doing it
Correct.
again.
That's why I had to force myself to stay calm.
Yeah, that was the reason why too, that I thought you guys would like panic as well, and I was real happy to see what happened.
Yep.
Not even as a coach, but just like your friend and teammate as well. Technically, it was awesome to see that. I was glad you guys overcame that.
Yep.
Well, for me, it was just the knowledge of in practice, whenever we did race settings and did a quali, 0.495 was my fastest that I had ever done
Hmm.
under like the pressure system, right? So when I hit the 451, I think it was 451, 451, something like that. It was
Yeah.
point 0.4 something. Anyway, I was like, holy shit, I hadn't even done that in a quali, like a simulated quali, let alone a real quali. What the hell am I gonna do, like, to do this again? I don't even know how I did it the first time. So I was panicking a little bit for sure. But I thought I saw Ross's time, which was actually pretty close to mine. I think we were 9/100ths apart. Like it was very close.
It was absolutely very close for the
Yeah,
actual. Yep.
both qualies. I
But
think we were very very close.
I had the fear as well. I'm like, man, what if I don't qualify as good? What if that's as good as my quality's gonna get? But then, just like I said, I had to recompose myself. I'm like, just do it. If you did it once, you can do it again.
So my brain does the opposite. Like, you idiot, you're not going to repeat that. What were you like? It just goes into like um criticism mode or punishment mode or guilt mode or I don't know, blame
Hmm.
mode, I guess. Just yeah, so there was a lot of like negative self-talk in my brain and that I had to really really like deal with in a very short period of time because it doesn't take long to reset the lobby, change the setting and go. So there
Right.
wasn't a whole lot of time to recover. Um, but I thought I saw your time and I had practiced with you all week and I thought worst situation, you get pulled. you know, because even in the quality times, Toby was semi close to your time,
Yeah.
but I think there was enough of the gap that I thought, well, something like I'm literally gonna have to hit a CCD every single lap to get last here. If I'm being completely honest,
Yeah.
I'd have to make a major mistake
I was thinking the same.
and every single lap. So if I even put in a good lap that isn't even the fastest, but it's just a good lap, I at least probably be somewhere in the middle, and I can rely on racecraft to claw my way back, which I've
For
relied on all season.
for me as a viewer and teammate and coach, whatever you want to call me, I knew that even if you guys were to qualify last, I knew just from being a prior teammate with you on a team ourselves, Ross, and our history of racing together and how we used to always battle all the time. And then the coaching that I've done with you, Crimson, I knew that you guys can overtake with pretty much the best of them. So I wasn't necessarily afraid of your guys' outcome in the end. I just knew that mentally it would drain you guys, that if you didn't qualify first. That's the only worry I had.
I think I would have been more worried during the long-term race because I knew Toby was not slow. He's gonna fight for it, and he's fast. So
Right.
I was more worried about Toby than Silverboy.
I didn't know much about either one of them. So, well, I knew that Toby, just based on, I think, 3 races that we were in the same lobby together, um, he was pretty on par with my pace. So, when people are of similar pace, anything can happen in a race. And so I really wasn't sure what to expect.
It also made it a little bit easier that they had a Ferrari strategist.
Yes, yeah, for sure. And I think they said, like, especially Silverboy, I know, mentioned that he definitely was out of practice. So I feel like they didn't come into the race nearly as prepared as we did, because we did grind it, we did practice a lot. So it would have been interesting if they had put in the same amount of practice time, what that race would have looked like. I'm sure it would have been very, very different, because they are both talented drivers.
Mm-hmm. And when I say this, it's not that they don't care, but it shows how much you guys care as the amateur team trying to move up to the next division and see what you can put on there. So I think that just shows that everybody in the semi-pros next season needs to watch out.
I think Raust and I's motivations are a little different. Like, he cares because that's who he is. I care because I'm hyper competitive.
Right, yeah.
It's like different motivations, I think. But I don't know, Ross, like, what makes you care about this stuff?
The competitive nature, the fact that I play the game just because I love the game in the general sense, that there's a competitive scene attached to that game that I love, that's strive enough for me. Yeah, that's enough motivation for me right there.
I just want to win. I'll be honest about it. I like to win. I really do. It's way more fun than losing. But I don't feel entitled to a win. I know I have to work for it. And because I'm older than all y'all, I have to work twice as hard as anybody else. Especially the youngsters that we've been racing against, Raust and I. They have gamer hands, right? Like, they've grown up with a controller in their hands. I'm new to this stuff, so it takes me like 5 times longer to pick up a skill, and it takes me 10 times longer to practice it, whereas they just pick up a controller and it's there, so.
But you've also had a crazy amount of exponential growth ever since you started playing regularly as well.
True.
And you're still getting better to this day. You have complete dedication and motivation to just get better every chance you can, and I think it definitely shows.
It's weird because so often I think I hit a plateau. And every time I hit that plateau, in my mind, I'm like, this is it. This is the ceiling. This is as good as I get. Like, I've reached my potential. I have maxed out my talent. But then, I'll get a coaching session with Daone, or a tip from Minardi, or a session with Pierre, or I'll watch someone stream, or I'll race against somebody and pick up something that they do, or I'll watch Starruck's video. And there's just those little things that you learn, and then suddenly your lap time's a little bit better the next time. And then you think, oh, so maybe it's not just talent, maybe it's just the knowledge of all these little things, these little details that I just wasn't aware of. But my biggest hurdle is taking what I know in my brain, like all of the using of the dirt at Fenza. I know all of these things. Implementing it is a different story.
Yep.
I know exactly where my car should be. I know these things. My brain knows. My hands know, but they don't necessarily do it. You
But
know,
that is the moment though of when my number one rule comes into effect. And what is that, Crimson?
always listen and obey your coach. No, wait.
No, the
Oh,
commitment.
the other one.
Yeah.
Sorry, which rule are we on? Yes, commit, commit, commit. I
Yep,
know.
committing to your line. Like even at least during practice, even if you're gonna hit that CCD, stick to that turn that you started. I don't care. Hit that CCD. Commit
I
to your
care. I
turn.
care. But
I'm
in that
talking
race,
practice. I'm talking
well,
practice though.
oh,
I want you
practice,
to
yeah.
like if you're in practice, and this goes for anybody that's listening, commit to your turn. I don't care how bad the turn is, commit to it, and that'll in the end, when you nail that turn, that commitment before will make you commit then, and it'll be the best turn you ever did.
Is that what helped you, Ross?
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Don't
He's
tell me he's right.
he's the
You're
coach
supposed to
here.
disagree.
No, he's the coach here. Like, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for all your help, Duan, and your coaching and your wisdom and your sense of humor and your unlimited patience with me. um, and, being a great part of VSR as well and contributing to VSR Blue's success for sure in this particular race. Absolutely. I think you helped us both out. Ross with your coaching session and me with the 1 a.m. practices that you would agree to because I would have 14 hours, 16 hours of schoolwork to do before I could practice.
Yeah.
And also for you insisting that I get my schoolwork done before I'm allowed to practice.
Yep.
So yeah, thank you so much for being awesome. And it's like you're an honorary VSR Blue member. And also thank you for never holding it against me that I stole your teammate. And you can't have him back.
No, it's no worries at all. I'm always here and always willing to coach anybody, especially, our teammates.
So speaking of Fenza, are you ready to watch our race?
Oh, I am so ready.
All right. This is the start. So we got off actually to a fairly good start, I thought.
The start was great, I believe. So my mindset here is to just let you lead. My job as a teammate is to help to hold them back. You lead it. I don't knock into you. I stay in your draft, and we just roll right along.
And the weird part is I thought for the whole first stint I was holding you back.
Not at all. I was playing a game. I was letting you lead, using your slipstream, using my trigger pressure to not bump into you, keep them at bay, and just stay right in your slipstream. Nice and calm driving, nothing out of the ordinary. Keep it on the inside.
Ooh, that was my good turn there.
Yes, yes. You made a lot of good turns.
Oh, it's so satisfying when you hit that. Man, when you hit that last turn, it is so satisfying. And that first sharp turn as well to the left there. Yeah.
My mindset right now is to follow you all the way until the first pits and then follow you out. Because unless you make a mistake, I'm not gonna physically try to mess up either one of our laps to try to pass you. I'll just stay in the slipstream. Even though I'm making mistakes right there. Yeah, we will.
Because here I kept going wide to leave you space.
No.
Because I was thinking like you're really pushing and your pace is faster, so I'm like trying to leave you that respectable amount of space that we like to have, leave people. And then I was like, gosh, he's not capitalizing on any of these.
I'm protecting our team from Toby because I know he's a fast driver. He's staying right with us. I know he's a fast driver. I've drove against him many times, and I'm protecting us against him because I don't want him in front of us. That's the whole plan.
So right here is where I started to think, okay, I think we can do well here. Like we're starting to pull away a little bit. You were right with me. And I thought, even if I make a mistake and I lose a position, I'm only losing that position to you, which is fine. Look at our lines. They were good.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful lines. I'm staying right in that space to where I'm not bothering your line, but yet I'm keeping enough momentum to not bump into you and stay right with you. Even if I get back a little bit, I know if I stay on the inside, nice tight line, I can use the DRS right here and catch right back up.
I think this is the turn I took really slow. Yep. So I was like, okay, I didn't want you out of my slipstream. So I took that. I remember taking that turn a little bit more slowly than I normally would have. And sure enough, it worked.
Yeah, it worked like a charm.
Which
It
was
worked like a
good.
charm. I almost hit that CCD right
Oh my
there.
god. Yeah, I screwed
And
up
that
and
would have,
saved it.
and right there you messed up.
Yeah.
So there's small mistakes, but that's, if I would have hit that CCD, that would have cost me huge. And I probably would have been battling with Toby again.
Well, we both would have been if we had both made that mistake because we both came close to screwing up there.
Right. He had to have hit a CCD,
So
right?
he must have because I don't see any other reason based on his racing lines why he would have dropped back that quickly.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm still chilling at this point. I know we're doing great. I know it's not an individual win, so I don't have to win.
so
I can,
DeOne told me beforehand to go like a bat out of hell in the first stint while your adrenaline's high and you got the blood rushing through your veins. And then after that, maybe play it a little safer.
he's
And
right.
I have to kind of thank him for that because I am pushing. I don't
He's
know.
right.
I'm sure
Because
the fast people watching are like, no, you're not. I'm like, yeah, I actually
yeah,
really
oh,
am.
I'm sure of it. They're like, oh man, you've made a mistake every single lap. What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah. And it's like,
But
okay, you
that's
have
why
no
we're
idea what I'm
amateurs and
capable of.
getting started, you know? But right now, we're giving it everything we have. We're literally full throttle. We don't care
Yep,
about the tires because we know it's our shortest stint. We
yep.
want as much lead as we could possibly get. So we're just chilling, driving nice and calm. We're not hitting CCDs. We're paying attention. That's it.
And I remember thinking because I'm watching during this whole thing, I'm constantly watching the mini map to see how far away they are. And then I thought, ooh, I wonder if they're saving tires. This was
At
not
this
a
point,
race
when
open entry for me. I totally hit the wall. I think I did it twice actually during this race.
so at this point, I'm thinking either he is going to pit next lap or in a lap or two. And if he doesn't, he's going for the one stop.
Yeah.
I'm at this point full gun trying to get up to you. And you're full gun because there's no slowing down at this point. You either catch up to me or you don't. You went in the pits the same, and I do. I catch up to you.
Yeah, for me, this stint was all about closing the gap between us and them so that our second pit would be irrelevant in terms of lost time.
That's what they're trying to avoid out. They're trying to avoid
Yeah.
out our extra stop by being careful with their fuel and tires.
I don't know how you feel about this during the race, but there is something so comforting about having your team right with you.
Absolutely. It gives you confidence. It gives you reassurance. It gives you something for your peripherals to look at while you glance at the mini map. And right there, we just saw a first glance of this first driver.
Yeah.
So now we have something in our brain. We just saw some smoke.
We
That just gives us something to strive for and drive
saw the
even harder.
prey.
There he is.
There he is. We're gonna hunt him down.
So this gets our killer instinct into action because we know he is saving. By all that smoke, we know his tires are being used. So that gives us more initiative to even catch him even harder.
Yeah, I think I didn't see much of Silverboy just because of where we were placed on the track, but I could tell that Toby was really, really struggling with because he's probably at zero tire by this point.
He's either at 0 or at 20 to 30. And you're pressuring him.
Oh, I'm definitely pressuring him, but it was really hard because
Yep.
my tires were fresh.
Right there, I knew you
And
let off a little bit, so
oh
I did
yeah,
too.
I
Here
lifted
you let
several
off, so I
times.
lifted.
Yeah, yeah.
I knew you were playing a mind game that I was about to play as soon as you passed him here.
Oh man.
Now, in my mind, if you want to switch to me, because you kind of just go.
This is
If
just
you,
a video.
oh, okay.
I do switch
So,
to you short in a bit.
okay, no problem, no problem. So I know he's not going to catch you. A, he doesn't have the tires. B, he's got me behind him pressuring. There you go. So at this point, I have to play a mind game, and Silver Boy's back there. There, I let off because I know I hit him on a POV. I'm going to point out every time that I let off because of POV. Right there, I have to play a game. I can't just physically pass him. There. I try to
Now
get him
you were
on the outside.
also the usual Ross in that you were way too nice.
Yeah. See, but the thing is, I go into the race, if I'm not going to, there, now I have my opportunity.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm thinking you're already far enough ahead that I'm probably not going to catch you unless you hit a CCD, period. So
Yeah,
all's
as
I,
soon as I had that overtake, I remember thinking, and I kind of laughed to myself, oh, you hit a
nope,
CC.
there's a CCD.
I remember thinking to myself, Top Gun taught me nothing about leaving my wingman. I learned nothing from Tom Cruise. Nothing. I left the Iceman, and yeah,
No,
I was
it's
just gone at this point.
it's fight or flight at this point for you. You know that you have the outright individual win in your sights. So all you have to do is drive nice and calmly, don't hit CCD, and stick to your line, and you got it.
The other thing I was thinking, because again, I'm watching the mini map, is I've got to get out before these guys come out of the pits. I've got to get out ahead of them because I don't want to end up in that traffic again. So I am pushing so hard right now. Basically, I'm not listening to anything that Daone said to me.
Yeah.
But I'm pushing for good reason because I watched your battle and I was like, I don't want to go through that. Like, because I don't think it's
Battle.
fun for me and it's not fun for them if I'm constantly on their rear bumper, with fresh tires. And I thought, geez, if I can, and we have another pit stop, right? So I'm pushing and pushing and pushing because I'm like, as soon as we have our next pit stop, we've got to come out ahead of them.
And at this point, I'm full gun. I'm not worried about fuel. I'm not worried about tires. I am literally full trigger, full go, but keep in mind of my tires. I'm just
I'm
full throttle.
watching the smoke from the tires. You are way better at tire management than me. Like
Well,
you are Lewis Hamilton with your massaging your tires. I'm just like I'm more like Feltry, I just burn through my tires like crazy.
I observed very wisely on a very fuel and tire efficient person that we usually raced with. So I learned very well early on about tires and fuel.
I'll say it.
But
Please come back, Tizio. Please come back.
please come back. Tizio,
You
please
taught
come
us so
back.
much. Please come back.
Like, please come back. You literally taught me so much
Isn't it amazing what you learn from watching others?
without even talking
So
to
I
them.
do back up in the footage here, I think.
Do you?
I'm pretty sure I do.
Okay. Well, until then. So at this point, okay. Okay, Silver Boy did a team order and let Toby by.
Oh no, wait, yeah. Okay.
We know that for
So
sure.
oh, poor Silver Boy. Oh.
Okay, so I went
Was
over
that
that.
just a miscommunication?
So I went over that replay as soon as the race was over. Yeah, please go back.
This is where I rewound just to show that because I was in the pits and
Can you
I had worked so hard to come out ahead.
we'll talk about that in a second?
I can go back. I can always play it
So
twice.
go back, yeah, go back. Let's talk about that. Go past here. So coming in that last corner, I knew there might have been a POV issue. And I did go over the replay as soon as the race was over. I went over it multiple times. I don't believe I hit him too hard enough to make him go into the fence. I don't know what he saw on his screen. We talked about it afterwards. Nothing was said about it. He said everything was fine. But it might be just like a POV issue.
It was a bit of a miscommunication too, right? Like, because it almost looked like he was going to the pits and kind of starting that whole turn as if
So
that's what he was going to do. And
that's what my next thought was. If he was making a pit stop, he missed the pits.
yeah,
And a double thought going into the pits. But as far as the hit, I actually let off my gas like midway through the corner because I knew there was going to be some sort of incident. So when he went towards the wall, I actually wasn't on the gas at all. I was far away, and you can see his car in the replay actually start to turn to the right. Like either if he was going into the pits or some lag happened or he was overcorrecting. So it looked a lot harsher than it actually was on my screen. But then again, I don't know what was on his screen. Now comes the battle the entire race. One of the best battles I've had for the entire year.
yeah, we backed up the footage a little bit just because I wanted to see, like I did a real short pit stop. I had no idea if I had enough fuel, and I didn't care. All I cared about was being ahead of Toby coming out because I did not want the battle that we were about to see that you did. All right, I leave it to you, Ross, because this was your battle, and I left my wingman.
I'll just talk it as it happens. So right now, all I have to do is chill. I know his tires are gone, or they're going. Bunch of smoke. And I have to play the POV game where I'm behind and have to take precautions not to hit the racer in front of me. And I'm just waiting for a mistake or a place to pass. And if it's not there, I will not force it. Right here, I try, but it's not there. So I just follow him. I know I'm getting DRS here. I just got to follow him. I'm not going to try to take the inside. If he messes up on the corner, then so be it. I'll get him. I had a better corner. He did not. But I'm still right there. Let up. Have the inside. I thought there was a little POV action right there. I literally let up and let him pass. So now I'm back to racing him hard. I know I got to make him make a mistake. And I'm not going to force his car into a position physically. Come on. I might be bumping him a little bit, but it's racing. I want position. Right there, I tried again, but I did not get enough grip.
Yeah, you actually kind of made a mistake on that.
So right
really
there,
sharp, that hairpin.
That right there, I did push him wide, so I gave him the spot back. No damage was done. I gave him the spot back because I knew I hit him. So I'm right back at it. He understands it's responsible racing. Right there, I might have bumped him, but I'm trying to get the inside right here. I try to slow down to get the inside, but he had enough momentum to block me. So I had to let up. Right here, I tried to juke him, take the inside. Did not get it. I know I pushed him wide, so I let him pass again.
Your persistence is admirable.
I'm very patient with the right kind of move. Right here, I know I could have passed him if I pressured him a little bit, but I wouldn't have gotten enough ground, and that next corner would have been terrible if I would have tried. So I didn't.
You have the patience of a saint. I would not have had this amount of patience.
I do believe he kind of let me by too because he knew I had better tires, and I think his hopes were just to stay in my slipstream, but that obviously did not happen.
Well, I think too, like he, because you did the switchback the turn before, you had a far better line headed into that turn, and he had the less desirable line, and as a result, he made a mistake heading into that turn, which caused the contact. And so then I think he just went, "Oops, that was my bad. This contact, I'm gonna let you go," which is totally fair. Totally fair. Yeah.
It's a very, very reasonable thought going through somebody's mind. And then after he hit that CCD, he knew his race was over, so he's like, let's just finish.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm thinking, all you have to do is finish. You got a 1-2, VSR, blue and green.
Yeah, by this point, I'm half a lap ahead. So that's what that battle cost you guys.
Yep.
Because I finished 12 seconds ahead by the end of it. So you actually did make up some time, because at this point, I was literally half a lap. And then by the end of the race, I was only 12 seconds ahead. Yeah, I'm just kind of cruising at this point, you know.
Yeah, you're cruising. Yep. Which you
just
should
trying
be.
not to make mistakes. And this is where I did listen to Daone, if you're listening. I did listen, and this is where I did play it a little bit safer and not try and push the entire time.
As long as you don't run out of fuel, you're gonna finish.
Yeah, by this time I would have checked that and
Yep.
And determined that it was gonna be just fine. Actually, I do remember consciously. I think it was with 4 laps to go. I did that whole, okay, what fuel do I have at the start finish, and then what fuel do I have at the start finish, and then do the math. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm fine. All good.
Your lines are very smooth. Practice pays off.
It does. I'm actually with this car better on low tire than fresh tires.
There's the one. There's the win.
There's the win.
Very, very strong performance from my teammate. Best teammate ever.
Well, to be fair, you took one for the team by battling with Toby for so long twice, which allowed me to pull away like that. Now, granted, I mean, in the first stint, or sorry, the beginning of the second stint, I did make a great overtake. I don't often say that, but I did have a really good overtake, which allowed me to get ahead. But you allowed me to create quite the gap, which allowed me to then later come out ahead of them coming out of the pits, right? So it's all like very, very, you were just as responsible for my win as I was.
Absolutely. I'm all about the team.
But if you look at both races, we both had a fastest lap, we both had a pull, and we both had a win. We both equally contributed to our promotion through over the span of the sprint and feature. So I thought it was great that we both had poles and wins and fastest laps.
I think we had the mindset of trying to make up for the lows during the season. I think we had something to prove to each one of ourselves, not to anybody else. I think we had to dig deep down inside and actually find the speed, find the efficiency, find the right cornering. I think it was just on each of us, and I think we both had that in the back of our brains, and we wanted to prove it to ourselves.
I think, and I agree, and I think too, it's also demonstrative of what we're capable of when we put in the time and the practice, and because that we've just proven that amount of practice and soliciting help from people like Daone or whoever, and having a high confidence level going into a race, I think was paramount for us. Because if you have a high level of confidence, then you're not so nervous, and then you're not making the nervous mistakes, right? And you're qualifying well, and you're doing well, and even if something happens, it's not insurmountable. You can eventually make the overtake. Like you were so patient, sitting behind Toby with fresh tires, and I think if the situation was reversed, if you had pulled away and I was stuck behind him, I don't think we would have had that was really fair racing comments in the Discord afterwards, because I would not have been as patient.
Yeah, very patient.
The best possible teammate was in the battle, I think. just let me go be a free pony, and and you do the hard work.
It's a
'Cause-
battle. It's a battle I will never forget. I promise.
but again, kudos to both Toby and Silverboy. We had when you have racing, even with a long battle like that twice, when it's fair, it's so much fun, and it's such a joy to race against competitors like that. That their goal of fun and fair is the same as yours, and that just creates such a fun experience, even in such a high competitive setting.
I couldn't agree more. And it gains a lot of respect between the drivers, and people just like that kind of racing a lot more.
Well, we wish them all the best in the amateur division.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Definitely be prepared, guys. Toby and Silverboy.
You will have some competition.
Yeah, you will definitely have some competition, and watch out for those noobs that come in. You never know what they're capable of. That is the VSR Blues advice to you: is don't ever underestimate the noobs, because they might just end up winning the whole darn thing.
It's like a box of chocolates, you know.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Exactly.
All right, thank you so much, Ross. I'm so glad you did this with me. I'm so glad you're my teammate. I'm glad we have.
I'm absolutely honored to be your teammate. It was a pleasure, and I cannot wait to go into the next season.
Yep, we're gonna do our best and take all the lessons that we learned from season 5 and apply them to season 6.
That's right.
And hopefully, that will end up making for good results. Because I think, I've always been taught, even growing up, that if you work hard enough, it'll come. And, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. That's what I've always taught. And it is so not true in CSUP. It's so not true. It's something I've struggled with so much because, I have so many hours in the game. I grinded practicing in preparation for ICSTC races. I put in so much time, and then you have someone come in that's relatively new to the game. Their learning curve is a 90-degree angle, and they're kicking your butt, and it can be so deflating to work that hard. But I think, if we approach season 6 as more of a team approach and maybe doing voice chats during races.
I think
that might
would
be a game
definitely be
changer.
important. Yes.
So that we, because, like the Los Lagoons race, I mean, we were translating, I think, in our own minds what the other was trying to tell each other. But, and then after the race, we kind of confirmed that's exactly what it was. But
when you race with somebody for long enough, you learn to develop how you mesh well on the track. That's what we did.
For sure. I look forward to it with the best teammate ever. So shout out to VSR as well for taking us on.
VSR.
And
VSR.
the benefits of being in VSR is you do have statisticians like Drummett who go over all the possible strategies and the pros and cons to each, and then you've got McVision who's always willing to practice, and it's such a great team atmosphere to be in, and we're very proud to represent the VSR with our VSR Blue team. Wouldn't trade it for the world, and I wouldn't trade you for the world.
Not at all.
So let's, when it comes to season 6, let's do this.
Let's go.
All right, thanks for watching, everybody. And if you don't want to miss the next video, hit that like and subscribe button.